Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Katleho and welcome back to my YouTube. My voice sounds so horrible because I've been grooving. Um, I've been a groovist for like, how long have I been a groovist? Like, I think 3 weeks. It's been 3 weeks now. I've been grooving fucked up, so my voice is gone. However, I woke up very motivated to do a YouTube video, and I was like, and I really want to do this thing, and I've decided I'm back, and this time for good. Share. My voice sounds horrible, but that's not the point. So today's video, I will be discussing where I have been. Okay, so honestly, one of the things that motivated me to actually come back and start recording is that my cousin is staring at me. No, actually, no, that's not the reason. One of the reasons why I've decided to come back is that I received like a few people, like I think 4 people on my Instagram texted me and saying, "Hey girl, where have you? We've missed your YouTube videos." And some of my friends were like, "Hi, why don't you just record again?" So I'm like, let me come back, you know. So where have I been? Quick update. Last year, Jan, I moved to Joburg. So last year, January, I moved from Bloemfontein to Joburg. By the way, I'm drinking Savannah. And that's on period. Okay. Last year, January 2021, I moved to Joburg. January, I moved to Joburg. So last year, January, I moved to Joburg because I felt like I was in need of a change. Last year, God gave me options to either stay in Bloemfontein or move to a different city, which was Joburg. So I decided, you know what, let me move to Joburg. Plus, Joburg has been hyped for so long. So I was like, okay, let me just move to Joburg. Last year, January, I moved to Joburg. I stayed in Joburg for a year. Because another reason why I moved to Joburg was because obviously Nikilo Kena Skolomo. So yeah, you know. Honestly, my experience in Joburg was not as fun. I don't know, maybe it's because of the whole last year we experienced a whole lot of lockdowns again and looting and everything. I was always indoors. I think had I stayed longer, I would have enjoyed Johannesburg. However, during the year last year, I decided actually my heart is not here. Like, you know, when you're just sitting and you're just like, okay, my dream to come, or rather my goal, or I don't know what you want to call it, but like my goal to come to Joburg has been achieved, né? And I got to see for myself, and I think God gave me an opportunity to come to Joburg to see if do you really want to stay in Joburg? Is this like the kind of place you want to stay in? And because I stayed there for a year and I really didn't explore Joburg, and not because I didn't want to or I couldn't, I could, but when time went by, I just didn't feel the city. And then I decided, ugh, no, man, no, this is not for me. Not that Joburg is not for me, and I think I just felt like the life in Joburg is so fast. I was like, oh, wait, stop. Not now, okay? This is not the time of my life where I should be living in Joburg. Maybe after 5 years, 6 years, or after, like, you know, when God decides, Corey, you know what? Okay, don't mind this. This is makeup. When God decides that, you know, I want you to go, I need to send you to Joburg. You need to fulfill your purpose in Joburg. Then I'll move to Joburg. I don't think Joburg is, it's not a bad city. I just felt like it was just too fast for me. And you know when you just feel like you're behind, the city is too fast for you. And that's how I felt at Joburg. So I decided, oh, and then okay, during the year I was like, you know what? Let me pray about this. Let me ask God, why don't I feel like I belong here? Why do I feel like I need to be somewhere else? Why do I feel like this is not where I want to be? And I prayed about it, and funny enough, I think it was a week later, or 2 weeks, if not mistaken. 2 weeks later, I get a dream. In my dream, my mother and I were in a car and we were driving and we came across a provincial border that was written Limpopo. And in the morning, I told my mom, like, Mom, I really want to change my institution. I really want to change. I want to move from Joburg. My mom was freaked out. Like, you've been crying to go to Joburg, and now that you're in Joburg, you're crying to go to Limpopo. And I was like, but I just feel like God is just speaking to me on another level and saying, this is your chance. Like, you need to go to Limpopo. To do what? I don't know. So I was like, okay, let me apply for school in Limpopo. And should I get accepted, then I'll move. If I don't, then obviously I'm going to stay in Joburg because I didn't have a choice. I applied last year and by God's grace, I got admitted last year. Yeah, last year basically, to study this year. And that's how I moved from Joburg to Limpopo. So this year, 2022, I am currently living in Limpopo. Love it here, love it, love it, love it. Like, I really truly believe that I was meant to be here. If it's for like a short time, then I'm grateful. I'm loving it here. I'm loving it, trust me, I'm loving it. Okay, so that's just the quick update that I felt like I need to do. Where I am, I'm in Limpopo. I'm in Limpopo here. We're in Limpopo, guys. Like, I just love it here. There's so much in Limpopo that you can do that I think I still want to do, and should I do, I will vlog or I will just show you guys. As I said, I'm coming back full time on this YouTube thing. Okay, that's on period. So let me just get into what have I been doing in the midst of me being MIA. On first thing I'd like to point out is dealing with change from moving from Bloemfontein to Johannesburg, moving from Johannesburg to Limpopo, change of environment rather. For me, that has been, hey, you know, it's just like some things are really it's nice to say, oh, I moved out of my hometown, but the change you experience when you move out of your hometown, I don't know about others, but personally, me, it was not a nice experience. I've lived my entire life with my family, with my mother, and for the first time I get to be independent, it was so overwhelming. There were times I'd cry. I'm like, I think I should go back home, child, because what am I doing here? But like I literally, when I moved out of home, I told myself, I'm gonna visit home 3 times a year, child. Last year I went home probably 10 times, and my mother was so pissed. Like, my mother was just like, girl, why are you here? Like, are you not supposed to be like doing something in Joburg? But I just got homesick a lot, like more than I anticipated. Thought I'd get homesick, and I was just like, why? But anyways, I do understand because I've always been so close with my family, and you know, when you have a good relationship with your family, you think you need to be away from your family, but actually you don't. And that's when, and I think living in Joburg for me was the isolation time of my life. God decided to isolate me from friends, from relationships, from, okay, not relationships per se, but like, you know, relationships, yeah. I think, yeah, I don't know, but God decided to isolate me, basically. While I'm on the topic of isolation, I think 3 weeks ago I was listening to a sermon by Sarah Jakes Roberts, and she was talking about how isolation leads to transformation. And last year I didn't understand why am I alone? Why am I alone in this time of my life? I'm supposed to be enjoying, like, my peers are enjoying life, child, and I'm just alone, you know, figuring out how to be an adult, how to, you know, start being responsible for my own life. And God isolated me, but in the season of isolation, I learned the importance of so many things that I don't think, had I came to Limpopo last year, I could have learned. I think I'm grateful for that step because I didn't skip it. I learned the importance of family. I learned the importance of friendships. I learned the importance of self-worth. I learned the importance of my career. I learned how important, or rather how serious I should take my career, because It's easy to say, oh, I'm serious about my career, but your actions will never prove that you're very serious about your career. So, or rather, building yourself as an individual. Last year, ways that I showed love to myself, going on solo dates, attending women's events, doing just things that I love, man, things that empower me, things that make me feel better, things that make me self-aware of myself, what I like, what I don't like, what the Katleho in her 20s, or rather in that season of her 20s, is who she is, and who is she trying to be, who does she want to become. And in my isolation process, I my relationship with God became so close, became I became so close with God. That's when I learned the importance of involving God in every decision you make. That's how I learned to say, before I make a decision, I pray about it and I ask God, is this the right thing? Like, should I go there? Am I supposed to go there? What? And my isolation period, or rather my isolation season, was a season I really, really learned the importance of so many things. I can name so many things. I got to learn. I didn't even know I had allergy until I was in my isolation season. I learned to say I actually don't like broccoli, and I was like, what the fuck? My body actually reacts to broccoli. Uh, so yeah, that was dealing with change. Change is a very uncomfortable process. Change is not nice. Experiencing change, the result of change is very beautiful, but the process of change is messy. It's triggering. It's fucked up. So I was dealing with that. I was dealing with change. It has its highs and lows. It has its good days. It has its bad days, and you know, but really, when you're isolated, most of the time you experience bad days. But anyways, I had good moments. I had great moments. I also met great people. I'm so grateful that last year, while God was trying to speak to me, I didn't have people that made my life so difficult. I know I didn't experience that. My life was so easy, and I highly, highly recommend the isolation season of your life. I highly, highly recommend, backing off, just shutting everything out and just going within, man. It's really, really, for me, I really don't want to go deep into how my isolation went about. Wara. I was not like isolated because of COVID or anything. I was just isolated because I think that was just God saying, just sit down, just shut up for a year and just listen to me. And I'm grateful. In the midst of last year, I didn't understand. I was like, God, why is this happening? Oh, why? But I look at like last year now, and I'm just like, I'm grateful for that season. I'm grateful for that season. Ciao. Would I want to do it again? I think I highly do recommend. I think in this, I would do isolation season again. It's not a nice process. It's not nice, but I would want God to isolate. Like, should I go wrong? Should I start fucking up at some time of my life? Then I think God should isolate me again. Okay, next point. Dealing with a no from God. Dealing with a no from God. Ciao. That's just the worst, child. That's just dealing with a no from God is the worst. Many people consider it as unanswered prayers. Child, it's not an unanswered prayer. It's just a no from God. Like, it's answered, and the answer is no. Dealing with no from God will forever. I don't think I'll ever get used to it. I don't ever think I'll get used to dealing with a no from God ever in my life, ever, because it's the one thing that you really want, and God says, no, this is not what I want for you. This is not how I want you to do things or how I want you to go about life. So I will put you in the no period, and I will give you what you deserve. Dealing with no from God, it was terrible, and it's also one of the things that also leads to depression and anxiety. There was a time in my life where I was drinking anxiety pills. It was bad, child. It was bad. It was bad. I was on anxiety pills, dealing with a no from God, dealing with a this is not yours from God, dealing with the this is not the right time from God. It was terrible. I don't think anyone, I don't even want to try and bring some motivation on how to deal with no. I don't know how to deal with no. I just know that if you pray through it, God will show you the signs and redirect you and say, I might have said no to this 1, 2, 3, but I wanted you to go in this direction. And trust me, once God shows you the direction he had planned for you, and once you start moving in that direction, child, everything becomes so easy for you. Everything becomes, you become at peace. You know, but anyways, I was on the conversation of dealing with no from God. I had to deal with no from God. Okay, it was very difficult for me, but I prayed through it. Prayer conquers all. I prayed through it. I invested myself in the no. What do I mean? I invested myself in the no. I invested myself in the no in accepting, okay, God does not want this for me. And I invested in saying, okay, God, if this is not what you want for me, then what do you want for me? Teach me, or rather show me, what are your plans for me? And I invested in it, and God redirected me in the right direction. I'm at a point in my life where everything that is happening in my life, I'm very content. I'm happy with the decisions that I've made. I'm happy that God said no to certain things at that particular time. I'm just happy that certain things didn't happen the way I had want them to happen, because I cannot imagine how much of a miserable, immature person I would have been had I received everything that I prayed for. Okay, next point. The kind of change that is happening in my life. So the next point is the kind of change that is happening in my life. Honestly, it was good until it turned bad, okay? I'm not going to try and act like an angel here. For the past 3 months, I've been a horrible person. But let me tell you the kind of change that I've been experiencing. I've been experiencing change in terms of spirituality, physically, mentally, emotionally. Yeah, it's just like starting with physically. Physically, I've been growing, obviously. We're getting bigger. We're getting big girls now, I've been physically, honestly, physically, I've learned to love my body. I've learned to love my body. I've learned to, for some weird reason, I've always had like a problem with body positivity. Has never been a thing for me, but now I do have positivity. Like, my body changes, the kind of change that has been happening in my body, the kind of change that has been happening in me emotionally is that I've moved from the place of darkness to a place of light. I've moved from the anxiety, I've moved from the depression, and I'm into the light. God has brought me into the light. I'm in a good space. I wake up in the morning and I'm grateful for the day. Yeah, that's the kind of emotional change. I'm in a good place emotionally. I'm not gonna say I'm 100% good. I don't ever think anyone will ever be 100%. Like, I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't ever think anyone will ever be 100% in a good space emotionally. Reason why I'm saying this is because the next minute you're happy, the next minute God decides to bring an obstacle upon your lives. So honestly, but I'm in a good space, child. I'm in a good space. I'm grateful for everything. I always wake up with a feeling of gratitude. I'm grateful for the things that I have. There's so many things that I have that I feel like I was not grateful for. That some of the things that God has been answering, but because I was in a period where I could not see and I didn't realize that actually God was answering 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. But now that I've realized, I'm very grateful. And to everyone, my friends, my family that has contributed to my well-being, rather. The last point I really want to make reference to is listening when God speaks. I didn't know this until last year, until my season of isolation, that it's very important in the midst of everything happening around you. It's very important to just stop and listen to God. It's very important to just I don't know, but it's very important to listen to God. It's very important to speak to God. And I've learned that God does not only speak through, I don't know. At first I used to think, not that I used to think, but I used to want God to speak through, I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know what was I expecting. I've learned that God does not only speak through actions. God speaks through people. Um, you'd be having a random conversation with someone or rather, I'd be having a random conversation with someone and they say something. And maybe when I get home or after some time, I'm just like, shit. Actually, to think of it, I was having a conversation with this particular person and I remember praying about it, asking God, what does this mean? And asking God, what does this mean? And getting an answer from just a conversation I was having with someone. I remember the other day I was having a conversation with a Bolt driver. I won't tell you what the conversation was about. But I was having a conversation with a Bolt driver, and honestly, for me, that conversation with the Bolt driver was like an answer that I needed from God. And I was so grateful. I'm so grateful that God got to answer me through someone I don't even know, but yeah, listening to God speak to me, listening to, how do you listen to God? How do I listen to God? Or I just sometimes feel like, wow, God, you literally do answer. That is where a song that I know, let's say a gospel song that I know, that I've been listening to for so many times, for so long, or for a very long time, and then I listen to it again, and then now this suddenly this verse hits hard, and I'm just like, hey, bro, this is God actually answering the question that I asked him like 2 months ago, or like a month ago, or like a week ago. Like, this is crazy. Once you start involving God in everything you do, things are crazy. You'd be surprised, you'd be shocked as you start involving God and your ancestors. It's amazing. Once you start involving God and your ancestors, it does not mean that you're not going to stop experiencing trials and tribulations, but I just feel like you're going to be wise enough in the midst of your trials and tribulations to be able to tackle them. So that's just what I've learned, and that's how my 2 years, because I've been off for a year basically, because it's last year and 2022 is only beginning. So let's say a year and a half. In the year and a half that I've been off YouTube, I've learned, those are the kind of things that I've learned that I'm gratefully, or rather thankful for. So that's the change that I've been experiencing in my isolation season. That's what I've been going through. That's what God has been teaching me. So that's what has been happening in my isolation season, and that's what God has been putting me through. That's what God has been teaching me, and that's what my ancestors have been teaching me. My spiritual life is really something that I'd love to talk about, but I think I'm not ready to talk about. I think that's just one of the things that I'm still going through. It's a process. I'm learning, and I'm not like good at it right now. It's still like fucked up. But once I find my feet, once I feel like, okay, I've experienced 1 to 3 enough to be able to talk about it, I will do that, okay? But for now, I really don't want to speak about it. For me, it's still an emotional journey. So yeah, I'm back, yeah. I'm back, and I'm hoping this year, and I'm praying, and I'm hoping that I become so consistent in this channel. And I become so very consistent in this channel. I'm praying and hoping that I become so very consistent in this channel. Okay. Yeah, man. I'm in a good space, guys. I'm in a very good space. And I think this is the right time to come back on YouTube. Because I'm going to be able to be myself. I'm going to be able to be honest, rather. I'm willing to learn on this platform. I'm willing to discover what I like, what I don't like, the kind of content I really want to do, the kind of content I don't want to do. Yeah, man. So cute. So cute, Bazalwane. So cute. So cute. yaze ayinhle intombi kaPeach akaba. And it's a period. I'm tipsy because I've been drinking Savannah the whole day. Like, this is literally my... No, don't worry. Akinya kuliblela le tama wa matawa lena. Le re matawa. Ona re matawa re di alcoholics. But anyways, my background looks so weird. Simply because this curtain, I want you guys to see. And it's dark. I don't know why I put this blanket behind the curtain. But I don't want you guys to see my background. It's fucked up. It's a maze. It's not fucked up. Like, we just need to get like someone to clean it. But anyways, I'm in a good space, guys. I'm in a good space. Cheers to good spaces. Cling cling daddy. I highly recommend involving God, involving your angels, involving your ancestors if you believe in ancestors, in everything that you do, child. Because if you do that, yeah, and I think that's just an update that I really want to update you on. That's just the update that I really wanted to update you guys on. And just to say that I will be coming back on YouTube full time this time around. I will be coming back on YouTube full time this time around. Okay. As I'm 9/7. Thank you guys for watching this video. Hope you like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. And please tell people to subscribe. Tell your friends, tell your friends' friends, tell your enemies to subscribe. Like, you know, when you're arguing with your enemy, just let them know, I hate you, man. Please subscribe. Yeah, please subscribe to my channel, and I will see you in my next video. I love you guys. Cling cling.